I'm building a point. Who from last year has played better than Vinicius Junior? In my opinion, he
no
is
player
the
has performed better
than Vinicius Junior. In my opinion,
competitions. In the period under review.
It doesn't have to be in all competitions. It just has to be across the time frame of the.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
across the time frame in all competitions.
Yeah, I don't think there is any footballer who has played better than Vinicius.
Not the one who's won the Premier League, was a key player.
Hang on.
The one who's won the European Championship, was the player of the tournament.
And that is what I'm coming
Not
to.
The one...
that it itself is flawed. Nobody can convince me that Rodri was a better player at the Euros than Aymeric Laporte. Nobody can convince me that Rodri was a better player than Lamine Yamal at the Euros. Nobody can convince me in that Spanish midfield that Rodri had a better game than Fabio Ruiz. Fabio Ruiz, yes. Nobody can convince me. Nobody can convince me that Rodri had a better tournament than Nico Williams. So I don't even think that he was the best player at the Euros. Far from it. I don't think in that Spanish team at the Euros, he's a brilliant footballer. When he's on his game, he's unplayable. He's the best player in the position right now. But at the Euros, in that Spanish team in itself, nobody can convince me that he was the best player.
And that I sat down decided he was the best player.
And that is where the stats of why he's going to win the Ballon d'Or tonight came from. UEFA knew this. They knew in the Champions League. It's almost as if they are rewarding him for not awarding him for when he was really, really brilliant for City.
Which is last season, the season before.
The season before. It's almost like they're rewarding him. Look, there is no way. Rodri, obviously, in the Champions League, they were caring about Real Madrid. He wasn't going to be the best player in the Champions League. They found a way of making him the best player at the Euros. And we all saw the Spanish team. If you are naming the most impactful players in that Spanish team, as good as Rodri is, you put all your biases aside. He wasn't the best player in the Spanish team. He wasn't. He
was a great player in that team.
No. Like I've said,
he wasn't poor. That's the difference.
Hang on. Like, no Spanish player was poor at the tournament. Even Morata wasn't poor.
Yes, and that's what counts against Vinicius, no? That he was poor for Brazil.
No, hang on. What I'm saying, Rodri wasn't brilliant for City in Champions League, was he?
No.
Yes, he wasn't. So are you going to use that against him as well?
Yeah, that's why it's not in the team of the tournament. It's used against him.
No, but the season is long. The season is long, so you can use that competition against him for the entire competition. Okay. And that is why I don't agree that because Vini had a poor Euros. And then when you mention 2018, then it's
poor Copa, you mean?
Poor Copa. When you mention 2018, then it's proper Ronaldo didn't win it because in 2018 they were knocked out in the last 16, was it?
Didn't have a poor competition.
No, but he was knocked out and Madrid went all the way to the final. So comparatively between the two of them, Madrid had a better season. But what I'm saying is that I have no problem with Real Madrid boycotting the Ballon d'Or, right? If they feel that they have been cheated, if they feel that they've been robbed, nobody can put a gun to their head and ask them to come for the competition. It's within their prerogative to decide. They don't want to be a part of a ceremony that is not rewarding who, in their opinion, is the best player. And I live by that character as well. If there's a gathering where I don't share in the ideas and ideologies of that gathering, I won't find myself there. And that is what Real Madrid are saying. It's as simple as that. The Ballon d'Or will go on without Real Madrid. Players will keep winning the awards. For as long as Real Madrid want to boycott, it's within their remit. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it when they themselves have seen. And in that Spanish team, again, it comes to the point Real Madrid were making. Why is Cavallano even in the top four then? Really? Because if Rodri was winning the Euros, Cavallano was a massive player there. He helped Real Madrid win the Champions League. He was brilliant in La Liga as well. He doesn't get a look in. And that is why I think that, again, Danny mentioned it perfectly, that it is...
I think Carvajal is fourth and Martinez is fifth.
Shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be. But the point is that it's a very subjective conversation when it comes to the Ballon d'Or. And I agree, this year might have been some of the tightest we've seen. In my opinion, I still think it's Vini. People have gone to make their opinions. If I was voting, my vote goes to Vini. Danny's vote perhaps would have gone to Lautaro or even now maybe Rodri. So I get it. I can understand why everybody is frustrated by one decision or the other, or why some are celebrating, because as Danny mentioned from the top of the show, it is that close. But I get why Real Madrid want to stay away from it. There is nothing wrong with it when there's a gathering. And people say that Haaland was there last season, so Vinicius should be there. No, Haaland doesn't decide how this is done. He doesn't decide where Vinicius should be simply because he maybe was robbed and he got himself there. No. Yeah. If Real Madrid or a club feels that they don't want to be part of a ceremony, that doesn't honor true talent and true performances, I 100% completely side with them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What are you standing on, particularly, to say Vinicius Jr. over the last 12 months was a better player than Rodri, for example? What are you standing on?
Yeah, I think that when Vinicius Jr. was fit and he was playing, he was extremely consistent and he was deciding games It wasn't only by the goals he scored, it was about the way that he carried his team, sets goals up.
The 3 Champions League knockout, in fact, 2 Champions League knockout games against Bayern and the final.
Which game did Rodri decide then? In which game was in your head was that game that was Rodri was the key man to decide for anybody?
That's the issue.
Yeah?
No.
So the reason I bring that is because you're mentioning 3 games. It means you're counting games that on top of your head he scored a goal. It's not about goals for me. It's about performances. And like Rodri,
when
you tell me about goals.
doesn't score, what else does he do?
It creates so much space. Is that a serious question?
So you give him Ballon d'Or for creating space?
What does Rodri do? What does Rodri do?
He tackles.
What are you saying?
Yes, he dictates. They call him the computer.
Vinicius,
he's the cog of a team.
I like that. He tackles. Vinicius dribbles. So Rodri should win because of tackles. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying I didn't finish with.
So let's go on that tangent.
I didn't finish with tackles.
I'm saying
I was making a point. I was saying that he tackles.
Yes.
He breaks play. He dictates play.
Yes.
He literally, in fact, he creates more goals than Vinicius. He made more assists than Vinicius Jr. did in the period under review. And he plays deeper than Vinicius Jr. does. He's the deepest lying playmaker in Manchester City. How does he play so far away from goal and still makes more assists than Vinicius Jr.?
Because he plays in a team that gets Rodri playing on the edge of the opponent's box. He's not very far away from goal. The average position of Rodri, it's a myth. Hang on. Still, let me land.
Vinicius plays much higher than him.
No, let me land. Vinicius started, we know he's an attacker. Yes. But Rodri's average position for Man City is very high up the pitch. It's a myth that he plays very deep. He's not playing for Chelsea or under Mourinho. He's not playing for Man United under Mourinho, Eric Ten Hag. His average position for Man City is on the edge of the box. His average position for Spain is on the edge of the box. He's very, very high up the pitch.
Is he higher than Vinicius?
Maybe not, but he is closer to perhaps sometimes I go because he's central. Vinicius coming from wide is doing his job. But I don't want to go into that. I don't think that is how you decide Ballon d'Or. That is another skewed way of looking at it.
It's impact.
That is what I'm saying.
It counts.
When I look at Vinicius Jr.'s impact, the way he influenced Real Madrid when they play, the way he's been able to single-handedly change the way Real Madrid points of attack, the way he's been able to create chances, score goals in decisive moments for him, and he's done it consistently across the season when he was fit. I don't think there was any footballer throughout the whole of last season who showed a lot more consistency in games when he played than Vinicius Jr. I think it's got to be him. But again, it's voted, like I said, it's subjective. Everybody can choose, and I don't blame Real Madrid for not showing up. Like I said, Rodri winning the Player of the Euros was the start of all of this. Okay.